Let me tell you an old story, full of twists, turns, and surprise. We will watch it all unfold. We'll see miracles you won't believe your eyes. It all began in Babylon, the strongest nation anywhere. When their army entered Judah, they conquered it and captured 4 young guys.
Well, they obviously captured more than just 4 young guys.
May I continue? There've been heroes through the ages with greatness, faith, and power. But these 4 were unstoppable when it came to the final hour.
But we're getting ahead of the story. We are getting ahead of the story.
So sit back and relax. Sit back and relax. Let us introduce you to Denny. Denny and the Shacks. Denny and the Shacks. As you watch the adventures of our heroes unfold, you'll see that Danny and his friends will continually face a series of choices.
And these choices will change their lives.
Will they choose to compromise their beliefs and follow the rules of Babylon?
Or would they choose to follow God? Just who will Danny and his friends bow to? In our story, some will face choices where they must physically bow.
Others will need to choose who they will follow, serve, and worship.
And these choices will change. You will see Danny and his friends face life or death decisions in the arena, the fire, and the den.
But we are getting ahead of ourselves. Danny and his friends has arrived in Babylon, having been captured by Babylonians.
And they soon realized that life in Babylon was very, very different than life in Israel.
Well, aren't you the strongest, best captives I ever seen? Good for you. We are glad to have you here in Babylon. This is Helga, and she will be giving you a tour of our royal weight room where you will be competing for the Babylonian Warrior Challenge. What do you say, warriors?
Challenge?
What challenge?
You'll love it. Helga will tell you all about it. I need to finish my workout. Time for lunges. Carry on, warriors.
Here in Babylon, we work our bodies to the fullest capacity. We are the best. Now you will be the best. But it looks like you'll need to train before you compete.
Danny was intrigued by the idea of a physical fitness challenge. In his mind, he pictured himself flying through the course, catching barbells left and right. Take that! And that! Although that's not what exactly happened. Here's what happened.
This doesn't look so tough. Let me just... Oh dear, that's very heavy. I can't lift that. He said it, you know the drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh? We do jumping jacks anytime someone says the word can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll get it. We have a bunch of workout words. It keeps things exciting. Just wait till someone says...
Don't say it.
The king assigned them a daily ration of food from his own kitchen. They were to be trained for 3 years. Then after that, they were to enter the king's service. But Danny was determined not to defile himself, but to eat the food given to them by the king. Danny asked for permission not to eat these unacceptable foods. Helga, I would respectfully ask that my friends and I not be required to eat the king's food. We have top chefs cooking for us day and night. Best food in Babylon. Why in the world would you ask that? I can't help but notice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That you are still lifting weights. Yep, gotta keep that heart rate up. She never stops working out. She's our top warrior. Babylon strong! As you know, we are Israelites.
He said it! That's the word!
Israelites, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Please know that the God of heaven has rules for us to follow. May we be allowed to simply eat vegetables and drink water for the next 10 days?
Gotta have protein.
Even so, we are following the rules of the Most High God.
Just give us 10 days and then see how we do. I don't know. If King Neb sees you looking weak at the competition, he's gonna punish me. Don't worry. Our God will not let us down.
He keeps his promises and we depend on him.
10 days passed and it was time for the competition.
Danny and his friends had eaten only vegetables while the Babylonians had eaten like kings.
Obstacle 1, the crushing cones of Chaldea. Ready, set, go!
Far as you can see, it's you are the king. That's me. Strength is what we build our lives upon. Our future lies in our own hands. We will win
Level 2, The Rings of Ra.
Strong. We'll go round, sing this song. As our enemies fall to the ground, we're Babylon strong. Need to choose. You'll join us, or be ready to lose. Looks like the new guys are crushing the home team. What is happening?
My heart depends upon the one and only God, not the riches or the strength of Babylon. God's in control of everything, no matter how it looks. We will trust in Him. Look around. The Israelites are rounding the corner to the last obstacle. They're not falling back. This is unprecedented. The Babylonians, in an unexpected twist, have been defeated.
The challenge was over, and Danny and the Shacks were crowned the winners. They determined to give God all glory for their victory.
I've got to say those vegetables did not let you down. How did you do it?
It was the Most High. He made us strong.
Whatever. Back to business. As Babylonians, you will need new names. Shadrach, Meshach, and you, Abednego. Back to push-ups.
Meanwhile, Canaan was very impressed that Danny and his friends had won the Babylonian warrior challenge.
I'm very impressed with you, Israelites.
Israelites, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up.
I can't imagine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, but you beat my finest people in the Babylonian warrior challenge.
Babylon strong.
You easily beat the obstacle course without eating our chef's amazing food. Tell me your names again.
I'm Shadrach. I'm Meshach.
And I'm just going to call you the Shacks.
I like it.
Would you like to be regular competitors in the challenge? You have the strength that it takes.
Our strength comes from Yahweh, the Most High God.
We will live and serve here, but please allow us to honor God with what we choose to eat. King Neb agreed, and Danny and his friends continued to quietly follow God and eat the food they knew God wanted them to.
In fact, 3 years later, they were stronger and healthier than all the others that had eaten the great food of the kingdom.
They chose to have faith and follow God even when it was unpopular.
Even when it seemed the wisest choice was to eat the king's food so they could be strong. And God blessed them as they lived in a foreign land.
It's easier said than done to say true who you know you are. It's easier said than done to be in the world, not forget your call. One decision can change everything and set the course of your life. Will you look to God or go it alone? Everyone decides. Everyone decides. Impossible. Time in Babylon went by, as time does, and Danny and the Shacks has adjusted in their new lives.
Danny and his friends prayed and asked God to give them wisdom to live in this new land. Above all, they continued to trust him that he would protect them.
Soon, Danny was placed in a high position and sent off to oversee operations in various parts of the land.
Meanwhile, the king appointed the Shacks over a province in Babylon. One day, the king had a big announcement.
What a great king I am. Look at all I've accomplished. All praise and glory go to me. Just wait until you see what I've built.
A 90-foot golden...
A 90-foot golden statue of your favorite person, me.
All were informed that when the beat dropped, they were required to fall down and worship the golden statue. Whoever would not would be thrown into a furnace of blazing fire.
The Shacks had a big problem. They knew they couldn't bow to anyone but their God.
There's no way we are bowing to that thing, right?
Of course not.
We can!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Shacky Shacksters, you're not thinking this through. You do realize what needs to happen here, right? I mean, it's going to be obvious if everyone's bowing down to the statue and you three aren't.
Maybe the king make an exception. He loves us. Wait. Maybe he'll make an exception.
The Shacks thought the king might change his mind. What if he decided that no one should bow to the statue at all? They could just imagine.
To my loyal Babylonians, I was just talking to my very best friends, the Shacks. And they have reminded me that there is only one God. So I'm taking down the statue and we will worship the one true God.
Although by now, I'll bet you that's not what really happened.
Here is what happened.
If anyone does not bow to the statue, I want them thrown to a fiery, hot furnace immediately. You're not thinking this through.
You're not thinking this through, Shackazoles. King Neb respects your beliefs. I know for a fact that he's impressed with your God. Your God helped you win the Babylonian warrior challenge.
Many people are impressed with God, but just because a person is impressed doesn't mean their life is changed.
We don't want to lose you. You will be of no use to your God after you've been toasted.
If you'll make this one compromise, you'll be able to serve God for a long, long time.
It's easy to compromise.
And it's easy to get caught up in worshiping other things.
But we must worship the one true God.
We won't bow. Simple as that.
I'd like to begin the festivities for a gigantic, enormous worship service for the most amazing king around, me. What? Oh my God. Welcome to my party. So glad you came. It's a big celebration to praise my name. No, I almost hate to mention it, but here it goes. Let's celebrate and have some fun. But before we do anything else, first you gotta bow. Bow down to your king.
Your God will understand if you go with the flow. Surely you will mind if you bow down low. Bow down to your king, bow down to your king. Bow down, bow down, bow down.
Don't compromise. You gotta think of yourself and compromise. The end will justify the means. Plus, if you don't go along, everyone will see.
Bow down to your king. Statue sing. Bow down, bow down, bow down to your king. Bring an offering. Bow down, bow down.
Now you've heard the law that you have to bow. If you're gonna change your mind, then you better do it now.
On the count of 4, you're gonna bow down low. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bow.
We're gonna stand. There's only one God over everything.
We're gonna stand. We're gonna stand. We will only worship Him and bring Him fame.
We're gonna stand.
We stand for the one true King. He is the Lord over everything. We stand for the only one. Worthy of praise, His will be done. We stand in the home of praise. He will rescue us and He will save. We stand and we will not bow, for He will deliver us even now. We stand. For the one true King. He is the Lord over everything. We stand. And we will not bow. Worthy of praise, His will be done. We stand. For the home of praise. He will rescue us and He will save. We stand. We will not bow. For He will deliver us even now. We stand.
When all was said and done, the Shacks did not bow. In fact, they stood tall.
But some of the Babylonians were not too happy about the way it turned out. Helga brought up the matter with the king the following day while they were all planking.
O King, your royal musliness, have you noticed that your favorite Hebrews conveniently forgot to bow when the beat dropped at the ceremony?
The cool cats, the Shacks, are you sure?
They must still be loyal to their God. After all, they are Israelites.
Israelites! Israelites! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah!
The nerve! After I put them in the provinces here in Babylon, bring them here.
And so the Shacks were brought before King Neb and given one more chance.
I'll give you one more chance to fall down and worship the golden statue of me. But if you do not, you will be immediately thrown into the fire. Rika, tell them how hot the fire is.
Oh, it is so hot, King. You can toast a marshmallow in 1 second, pop popcorn in 3 seconds, and pizza in 5. Let's just say you don't want to stand anywhere near it.
Much less in it. Ha 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 ha. I cracked myself up.
Our God can deliver us from the fire, but even if He doesn't, He's still more powerful than all your gods.
We stand firm. We will not serve the statue or your gods.
Pity. I really liked you. Shacks.
shackle. Those shackles were thrown into the furnace so hot they were stuck without a chance to ever make it out. But to Babylon's surprise, they were untouched by the heat. Almighty God showed up and cooled them head to feet.
God is with you in the fire. He's with you in the flame. He is here when you call His name. He's with you in the fire. He's with you in the flame. He is here and He will sing. Too hot to handle, too hot. Living your fears, the enemy's alive. Too hot to handle, too hot. God is here, He's in the Lord of the fire. Lord in the fire. Lord in the fire. Lord in the fire. Lord in the fire. He's in the fire. He's with you in the flame. He is here when you call His name. He's with you in the fire. He's with you in the flame. He is here when you will sing. Wait, didn't we throw in 3 people? Yes, King. Well, I see 4 people in that fire, and it looks like they're having a party.
So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were brought out of the fire, and it did not burn any parts of them.
Once again, King Nab was very impressed that God had saved Danny and his friends from the fire. He said,
Praise to the God of the shacks, who had sent His angels to save them. They were willing to risk their own lives than serve or worship any other god but theirs. Therefore, I decree, if anyone says anything bad about their God, they'll be forced to do 1,000 burpees and 5 million sit-ups. There is no other God like theirs.
And King Neb promoted the Shaks and sent them off to lead in the provinces of Babylon.
Many years went by and new kings came and went until a different king arrived with a very different band. And he loved his music, and this much we know. You never see him without his saxophone.
King Darius was more interested in music, so he converted the weight room to a palace recording studio.
Darius was more interested in music, so he converted the weight room to a power recording studio. He loved to jam with the other musicians, especially Danny.
In fact, he planned to put Danny in charge of the whole kingdom. Soon, Danny would be the second most powerful musician in the land. The other musicians did not like that.
He's a foreigner and he's gonna rule over us. He doesn't even practice piano every day for 7 hours. He keeps stopping to pray to his God.
Can you imagine? I'm practicing my vocalizing and warming up like every second. Me, 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 me.
The other leaders tried to find something wrong with Danny because they were jealous that he was so respected, but they could not find anything to blame him for. So they decided to trick the king into making a law they knew Danny wouldn't follow.
Let's convince the king to make a law that all people in the land have to pray to King Darius every day for 30 days. It will be the sign of their loyalty.
Perfect. And if they don't?
Throw them into the lion's den. The lion's den.
So they approached the king.
So let me get this straight. Everyone will pray to me for 30 days?
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I love this idea.
And in case King Darius realized it was a trap for Danny, they wrote in a clause making sure it would go into effect immediately and could never be changed.
But Danny continued to pray to God 3 times a day with his windows open so all could see.
Guide me today as I seek to follow your will and serve you. Amen.
Right away, the jealous musicians alerted the king to Danny's actions, and King Darius realized with horror that he had no choice but to follow through on his own decree and send Danny to the lion's den.
I'm so sorry, Danny. I was tricked into making this decree. May God, whom you faithfully serve, deliver you from this den of lions.
It's all right, King. My God will continue to protect me. We'll jam again. You'll see.
And Danny was thrown into a den of lions. You know that feeling that you get? You know that feeling. You know that feeling that you get in the pit of your soul. When you think about a burger and you want to swallow it whole, there's a sweet satisfaction. You know that feeling that you get in the pit of your soul when you think about a burger and you want to swallow it whole. There's a sweet satisfaction knowing all will soon be fine. You heard that dinner bell, and it's finally supper time.
Then he was thrown down to certain doom. He
got a stone, closed like a tomb. All seem lost, what would Andy do? He will trust God to see him through. The lions grinned, waiting for a treat. If their tummies were happy, they feel such sweet relief. But to their surprise, it all went south when God sent an angel. God shut their mouth. God shut their mouth. God shut their mouth.
I think they're trying to speak. I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
Perhaps I can jump in and translate for you. Welcome to our home. Sorry about the mess. But if it's not a bother. Oh, he wants to eat you.
Oh, thank you anyways. I'm just gonna stand over here.
At the first light of dawn, King Darius hurried to the lion's den and cried out,
Oh, Danny boy, friend, have you been eaten?
May the king live forever. My God has sent down his angels, and he has shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me.
Hot diggity dog, this calls for a saxophone celebration.
The king was overjoyed and gave orders to lift Danny out of the den.
And when Danny was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God.
In faith, he believed the impossible. Even when you are living in Babylon, you can still be in the presence of Almighty God. For better is one day in his presence than 1,000 spent anywhere else.
Hearts
I rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked.
For the Lord our God is sun and shield. The Lord gives favor and honor.
No good thing will happen with those who are blameless.
Blessed is the man who trusts in you.
Blessed is the man who trusts in you.
Blessed is the man who trusts in you.
He's blessed. She's blessed.
Blessed.
He's blessed. She's blessed. He's blessed. She's blessed.
Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed. Blessed is the man who trusts in you. I'm blessed. You're blessed.
Or maybe you are in your own Babylon, a difficult place to feel that God is with you.
Rest assured that He is near, and you can worship Him no matter where you are.
He will be with you in Babylon.
He will be with you in the fire.
He will be with you in the den.
Look for where God is working.
No matter what happens, how disastrous it seems to us, God's always right there in the middle of it.
Even in the midst of difficult times of our lives,
God is with us. He is listening, and in faith we stand for Him.
I will stand for the one true God. I will stand when no one stands with me. I will stand, for I serve the King, even if the world comes against me. I will stand.
God calls each of us to have courage and take a stand in different ways. It might be like the shack refusing to bow to a false god.
Or it might look like Danny praying to God when there was a law against it.
It might even mean serving quietly in a place where those around you don't serve God, and being a trustworthy and honest worker like Danny and the shacks in Babylon.
But whatever way He calls you to stand, He will be with you and give you strength to stand for Him.
When no one stands
Now you've heard old Danny's story, and by now you realize that it's not about our circumstance, but Almighty God who's always by our side. No matter what you're facing, no matter what they say, put your faith in God alone. He still works today. So this isn't the end of the story. This isn't the end of the story.
All right, kids, let's give them another hand. Oh my. All right, we also want to thank our director, Sue.
我们一起来感谢我们的姐妹苏，她是我们的指导。
Parents, we also want to thank you.
家长们，我们也谢谢你们。
And want to thank you for giving us your children.
It's
up to your parents.
我们谢谢你们把孩子带来这里。
Okay. So just a few announcements for you.
我们有几个通知。
We'll be taking a break from our family night for the summer.
这个暑假的时候呢，我们 Family Night 的暂时会休息一下。
Please continue to keep us in prayer.
请你们继续为这个家庭之夜这个节目来祷告。
We also want to invite you to a special event that we'll be having this summer.
我们也要邀请你们考虑着来参加我们夏天的一些活动。
Every summer in our church we have this thing called a Vacation Bible School.
每个夏天我们都有一个叫做暑期圣经学校的这个节目。
And this year it'll be from July 16th to 20th.
我们今年呢是7月16号到21号。
And we'll have flyers in the back for you.
那个通知那个小册子就在那后面，你可以自己拿。
It is for elementary school students, so age 4 all the way through to 5th grade.
它是专门给那个小学生的哈，从就说4岁到5年级。
And so you're more than welcome to come. Registration will be online.
你